Welcome back to this very special Independence Day special with Dr. Rangarajan. This is an Indianomics special. Dr. Rangarajan, thank you very much for your patience. So just a couple of questions more. Would you say that one of our big achievements is not economic and political? I mean, we did not fall apart like, say, the Soviet Union or even Britain is now threatening to. And secondly, we maintained our democracy. Would you say these are, at least as big, if not bigger achievements than our economic development?
Well, politically, we have had some problems as well,
Yes.
and we continue to have problems. But certainly, it is a tribute to the people of this country that we remain a democracy. We cherish some of the freedoms that have been given in the Constitution, particularly when we look at it in the context of what is happening in our neighboring countries and in several parts of Asia and Africa. So that is true. But you asked me, the first question was about what have been our achievements.
Yes.
Therefore, in that context, you will see that our economic achievements have fallen short of our expectations.
Yes.
And they have also fallen short of what many other countries have done. For example, South Korea was an underdeveloped country, and its per capita income was the same as that of India in the 1950s. But then it has become a developed country. It is part of OECD and so on. Therefore, our aspirations to become a developed country is very much justified.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we have fallen short of our expectations. But nevertheless, we have, as far as the economy is concerned, able to achieve many things. Therefore, it is very difficult to compare political achievements versus the economic achievements. Okay. I would only say that in the case of both, we have done well in many respects, and we can be proud of what the achievements there. But at the same time, we need to recognize that we have fallen short of our own expectations. And we really need to drive faster. Yeah.
No, I agree with you, sir. Falling short in terms of providing jobs to everybody and falling short in terms of providing economic well-being to everybody is also a political failure and not just an economic failure. I take your point on that. Well, finally, Dr. Rangarajan, I still remember you as the RBI governor, par excellence. So let me conclude by asking you, what would be your comment on the RBI? Its performance over the last 30, 40 years when you have been, heading the ship?
Well, I think RBI has been a strong institution. And people who have been appointed as governors have been men, I think so far only men of excellence and high integrity and very scholarly. Therefore, in a sense, the institution has maintained its integrity. The institution has been able to provide a leadership in the area in which it has been charged. And therefore, I would rate the performance of the Reserve Bank of India as very high. The one issue that has been coming up frequently has been the autonomy or independence of the Reserve Bank. In the early period, in the planning period, certainly the dominant thinking was that the government is playing an important role, and the Reserve Bank and many other institutions are supposed to play a supportive role. I think that also resulted in bouts of inflation from time to time. So therefore, the important change that came around the early 1990s and continuing is really to give a greater amount of autonomy and independence. In the final analysis, it is the act of the Reserve Bank of India which does it.
Yes.
So as you mentioned earlier, we did away with automatic monetization of fiscal deficit and so on, and did away with determining the deposit rate and so on. And I think after the Fiscal Responsibility and the Budget Management Act, the other important change was the inflation targeting framework.
Yes.
I believe that it is an important development as far as the Reserve Bank is concerned, and the way in which the Reserve Bank of India has managed the new framework is very good.
Okay.
Excellent. And I would say that that gives really the power of independence or autonomy to the Reserve Bank. After all, even the governor of the Reserve Bank or the finance minister do not know whether the policy rate is going to be raised or lowered.
Yes.
It is really the Monetary Policy Committee which decides it. Therefore, I would really say that the new framework gives the required freedom or autonomy for the Reserve Bank, and I'm quite sure that there are issues that are arising even with respect to the new policy framework.
Yes.
How much time should we allow the inflation rate to
above,
be hanging outside the limit?
yes,
And how quickly we should do it, and so on and so forth. I think the questions are still hanging around.
Yes.
But I think the experience of the management of the new policy framework has been good. And therefore, I think as we go along, we should really strengthen this mechanism. Therefore, to conclude this part of it, I would say that, yes, the Reserve Bank of India has done well, extremely well. And the government and others also must recognize that it is good to give this freedom and autonomy to the Reserve Bank. It is to the good of the economy, good of the society.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Rangarajan. I believe you're 90 years old, and to have such a clear vision and advice for both the government and the Reserve Bank at this juncture is extremely creditable, and we are thankful to God that you are still around to give us advice. Thank you very much, and here's wishing you every happiness and good health.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, that's it on this very special edition of Independence Day Indianomics. Thanks for watching.